Temiswaduta. Welcome to this evening's Goddess Hour. Well, we do have Temiswaduta on the Zoom. I will be hosting and leading our time this evening because Temiswaduta is preserving her energy and attention for family matters and very important responsibilities of the heart. So I'm honored and happy to host Goddess Hour for all of you and to welcome Temiswaduta as a hopefully relaxed participant this evening. Hello, Doug. Welcome. So this is the usual monthly, semi-monthly, it happens every 2 weeks, activity of the Temple of the Divine Feminine, usually under the masterful leadership of Temiswaduta. And I hope that all of you will be back again in a couple of weeks to be with Temiswaduta for the next one. So I brought a candle this evening. I don't have the white one that has all of the goddess symbols etched in it and anointed that Temiswaduta brings all the time. But I do have one that, for important reasons, comes from Israel. And so this represents our light. That is for the Temple of the Divine Feminine that has been burning throughout all of eternity. And this evening it's represented by this one flame on a beeswax candle from Israel. Rahima is helping babysit the safety of the temple. Luna, you might need to turn your own volume up. I think I have my setting pretty high, as is usual for me. Is everyone else hearing me okay? Yeah. Okay, so we'll begin with Sakina, that is an invocation attunement to the Divine Feminine. That is one of the prayers that I offered for Sarati Anayat a few months ago. So it's in the chat window if you'd like to join me in saying this prayer that means indwelling presence. In your presence, Divine Mother, the embodiment of all that is holy, birther and cherisher of the worlds, illuminate our prayers, guide our lives, and hold us ever in your perfect heart. Amen. And Temiswaduta, while you're not responsible for anything this evening, would you like to do it in the Portuguese?
I can do, but you would have to place it. Okay. Na tua presença, Mãe Divina, a encarnação de tudo que é sagrado, geradora e protetora dos mundos, ilumina as nossas preces, guia as nossas vidas e mantém-nos sempre em teu coração perfeito. Amen. And thank you. This is beautiful.
Thank you, Temiswaduta. I'm happy you can be with us.
And I'm very relaxed here on the other side and listening
Good.
while attending to family. So thank you.
Good. I'm glad. Okay, beloved. So our next practice is the attunement to the Divine Mother Goddess. And this is an adapted practice that started with a very simple form from our friend Kutubadeen, and then was expanded by our friend Moinadeen, and then was further adapted and expanded by me, and then has been adapted and shaped directly for the Temple of the Divine Feminine by our beloved Temiswaduta. So I'll put this in the chat window in a couple of pieces so that you can speak it along with me if you like. And when we begin, after the first introduction, we'll go through a lot of beautiful names of the Divine Feminine throughout history and through a lot of different religious traditions. Uh-oh, I made it too long. And then, hold on just a moment while I do a couple different pastes here in the chat window. And then we'll have a little bit of a pause before shifting to the examples of the Divine Mother in our own lives. And for those personal examples, I'll allow a moment so you can include the names of these beautiful human beings that you have known or that you have not known but would like to honor through this practice. So you are welcome to participate in that in your own way to whatever extent is useful for you. Oh, and also, when we go through the names of each of these beings, the deities, the historical women, and also our own personal examples of the Divine Mother, we'll pause after each name to say Ya, Ruch, and lift the head. That is a welcoming of that atmosphere, of that entity into our own hearts. And then after I describe a word or a phrase that explains who or what they represent, then we'll intone Ah, Ruch, down into our own hearts that is breathing that living presence within us. Okay. Divine Mother, by your grace, we open our hearts to you in the forms of strength, beauty, wisdom, creation, mercy, faith, and love. As beloved Gaia, Ya Ruch, Mother of all life, Ah Ruch, beloved Grandmother Spider, Ya Ruch, Mother of balance and harmony, Ah Ruch, beloved Sheila Nagig, Ya Ruch, Mother of openings, Ah Ruch, beloved Inanna, Ya Ruch, Mother of our shadows, Ah Ruch, beloved Saraswati, Ya Ruch, Mother of devotion, Ah Ruch, beloved Amaterasu, Ya Ruch, Mother of light and life, Ah Ruch, beloved Yemanja, Ya Ruch, Mother of self-love, Ah Ruch, beloved Uma Mariam, Ya Ruch, Mother of mercy, Ah Ruch, beloved Kuan Yin, Ya Ruch, Mother of compassion, Ah Ruch, beloved Tiamat, Ya Ruch, Mother of chaos and order, Ah Ruch, beloved Ereshkigal, Ya Ruh, Mother of the underworld. Ah Ruh, beloved Sekhmet. Ya Ruh, Mother of transformation. Ah Ruh, beloved Kuatlikwe. Ya Ruh, Mother of grief. Ah Ruh, beloved Lilith. Ya Ruh, Mother of power. Ah Ruh, beloveds, the fates. Ya Ruh, mothers of destiny. Ah Ruh, beloved Eve. Ya Ruh, mother of humanity. Ah Ruh, beloved Miriam. Ya Ruh, mother of courage and protection. Ah Ruh, beloved Rabia Aladawiya. Ya Ruh, mother of mysticism and spirituality. Ah Ruh, and now attuning to the beloved women in your own life, your ancestors. We'll have two places for the grandmothers, so you can welcome both your maternal and paternal grandmothers if you wish, or any beautiful human beings who have held that role for you. And then we'll have a space for the mother, and you can put in the name of your own mother. And then for either yourself or your wife or someone in your generation who is a mother. And then for your daughter, for the mother of the next generation, or someone who represents that generation for you in your own personal life. Beloved grandmother. Ya Ruh, mother protector. Ah Ruh, another beloved grandmother. Ya Ruh, mother guide. Ah Ruh, beloved mother. Ya Ruh, mother giver of life. Ah Ruh, and beloved, the mother of your children. Ya Ruh, mother nurturer. Ah Ruh, beloved daughter, or the mother of your grandchildren. Ya Ruh, mother cherisher. Ah Ruh, Beloved mothers, you grace us with your blessed presence. We offer to you our love, our respect, and our gratitude. Amen. Welcome, Ashik and Doug. Nice to see you both with us today. So I want to show you the candle for the temple again, because the Divine Mother goddess for this evening is Shaddai. And Shaddai, I'll tell you a lot about her, but she is one of the earliest names of God in the Bible and in the Jewish and Christian religions. And this candle is made of beeswax, and it came from Jerusalem, Israel, and our friend Aliella sent it to us. And it says that it is a honey candle from the land of milk and honey. So I thought this was the most powerful, beautiful candle to use for this evening. And there are two quotes that are biblical passages that are on the package of this candle. That it's a clear plastic thing, but I'm going to read you these two passages. One is from Isaiah that says, "I will make you a light to the nations." And the other is from the book of Numbers. "We made our way into the land to which you sent us. It is flowing with milk and honey, and here is the fruit it grows." So Shaddai is the goddess of milk and honey. And her name, Shaddai, is possibly and probably a derivation from the goddess's name Asherah, or Asherah is a more common pronunciation that we hear now in our Western language culture, but that was Asherah, or Asherah, was the goddess of the life that blooms forth from the earth. That is the symbol of the abundance and the nurturing quality of the land. And and it is said that the name Asherah even holds in a hidden way the name of God in the earliest Bible, that is the Yod He Vav He, the Tetragrammaton. I'm going to geek out on you a little bit this evening. I hope you don't mind. Okay, so one of the earliest names in the Bible, in the Torah, in the Old Testament of the Bible, so we're going back thousands of years in the Middle Eastern region that includes a lot of different countries now, but is, in this very desert terrain. One of the earliest names that God offered of herself was El Shaddai. And El Shaddai has several associations with it. So El is the God that is the singular form of God that means the might or the strength, the capacity to accomplish and do everything. And Shaddai is tied to a lot of different roots. So I'd like to tell you a few of them. The most important, and the one that I've always understood, is that Shad itself means breast. That is literally the physical anatomical breast that is the providing of sustenance for the babies. That is the essential nutrients that are given for all life. And in a symbolic way, the Shad is represented as the hills and the fields of the land that have mounds and valleys that create this diverse ecosystem for life to bloom forth as the earth herself, from the earth herself. So then if you want to look at the separate roots of Shaddai, Dai itself as a root means sustenance and nurturance and generosity. It means plenty and sufficiency. It means that there is enough, that there is always enough. Then, as a suffix at the end of it, if you just look at I and its use at the end of a word, It means the plural form of mine, that these belong to me. And so the name Shaddai can mean that God, El, is saying, I am the God of many breasts. That's a very literal interpretation of El Shaddai as one of the earliest names of God in the Bible. Do you like it? Okay, so because of this, it weaves together all of the power and capacity of God along with the tenderness and the generosity and the utter selflessness of the mother that is constantly available and pouring forth everything she has, everything she can, everything she is for the sustenance, the life, the comfort, the safety, and the well-being of her children. And in the temple of the divine feminine, it is a basic tenet that all of us, every single living being, is the child of God. Okay? So this weaves together strength and tenderness. Then there are a couple other roots for this name that I just find so delightful. That one of them is the root Shaddai. It's spelled S-A-D-E, but with some little characters around it to emphasize the sh and the a, Shaddai, which means the uncultivated field. It means the wildness, the untamedness, the natural condition of the abundant earth. So there's a sense of this raucous, raw, unfiltered, uncontrolled quality that just moves and blossoms as it will, that we can eventually develop a relationship with it, but it is recognizing the God presence as the wild. And it also has a similar root in the Semitic languages of Shadu, which means a mountain that is an embodiment of strength and abundance, and also a landmark that is a guiding point that we can orient around for our whole lives. That the mountains throughout human history have been the place that we reference when we're trying to understand and explain where we belong and where home is. So there's a quality of the signpost of God as the mountain. Okay. Now, in the Hebrew Bible understanding, there are a lot of passages that reference God as Shaddai, that is the name that she expresses herself as. So here are a few of them that feel relevant and useful right now. One of them is from Genesis. And it's lovely to note. I think that I'm partially making this up because I don't remember exactly. Maybe there are 8 passages that reference Shaddai in Genesis, and maybe 7 of them, like almost all of them, reference her as fertility and abundance. So this one has to do with the blessings of the breast. And you could say that any of the passages that are about the blessings of Shaddai can be called the blessings of the breast. That is the nourishment that flows as milk. So from Genesis 49:25, your father's God, who helps you because of the Almighty El Shaddai, who blesses you with the blessings of heavens above, blessings of the deep that lies below, blessings of the breast and womb. And here's another passage. This one is from the book of Isaiah, from chapter 60, verse 16. You will drink the milk of nations and be nursed at royal breasts. Then you will know that I, Yahweh, am your Savior, your Redeemer, the Shaddai of Jacob. Another one, this is also from Isaiah, in response to a lamentation, an expression of sadness and despair, of being forsaken and forgotten by God. That there are so many stories in the Bible where someone is saying, why am I being neglected by God? Why isn't God protecting me and caring for me? And God said, can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has borne? I will never forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands.
What verse?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mo?
What verse was that from Isaiah?
49 from 14 to 16, chapter 49, verses 14 to 16. And then in the Psalms, Shaddai is translated, it's offered as the God of heaven. So we have her transcending from the earth and all of the associations of the abundant earth also to the heavens. So this is from Psalm 131, verses 2 and 3. I have stilled and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. Okay, then that's it for Bible passages for this evening. But they're yummy, aren't they? Oh, it's so nice. Okay, so also in the Jewish religion, there is a tradition of putting a mezuzah on the house, on where you live, of taking it's a little plaque that is a blessing that contains parchments with prayers that have been written and placed inside of it, that they're not taken out again. They just stay there as a protection of a guard and a blessing of goodness for the home. And traditionally, a mezuzah is put at each of the entryways to the home, but it could also be put between rooms or at a place of work or anywhere where there's an entrance that you would like for the person moving through it in one way or another to be blessed, coming in and leaving again. So on a mezuzah, the prayers that are written inside it are usually from specific passages from Deuteronomy and affixed to the door. And the name Shaddai is often written on the back side of the passage. So sometimes there's the Shema Yisrael, that is the most common prayer in Judaism, that is remembering that God is all pervading, that everything is the one God. And the name Shaddai is written on the back of the Shema that is placed in the mezuzah as an additional protection. So it is said that the name that is inscribed of El Shaddai is the guardian of the doors of Israel, or the guardian of the dwellings. So she's a powerful kindness in the world. Okay, so here's a tiny bit more. This is from an author named Andrew Jukes, who wrote a book called The Names of God in Holy Scripture. The Names of God in Holy Scripture. So here's a passage where he talks about this essence of Shaddai. Jehovah, or Yahweh, bears a sword. But El Shaddai, the Almighty, the abundance, is not the sworded God. God's almightiness is of the breast, that is, of bountiful, self-sacrificing love, giving and pouring itself out for others. Therefore, God can quiet the restless as the breast quiets the child. God can nourish and strengthen as the breast nourishes. God can attract as the breast attracts when we are in peril of falling from God. This is the Almighty. So, as two further examples, ideas, possibilities for attuning to Shaddai, in contemplating her myself over the last few days, I've been thinking about an immediate association that arose for me is one from John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, that is, maybe you read it as a required reading in high school or something. I recently reread it, and the end of it made me cry when I was a teenager and read it, and made me cry again now. So there's, at the very end of it, there's a moment where a mother who has just lost her child and has breasts full of milk, finds a grown man who is on the brink of starving to death, and her nursing him and offering the sustenance of her breast for his life is the very end of this story that is so much hardship woven throughout the entire book. But that ending image just sticks with me with so much power and so much poignancy about the generosity and the natural impulse of the Mother God to offer whatever sustenance is needed by whomever it is needed. So I love that image, and maybe that will be useful for you. The other one is from a spiritual teacher of some sort. I don't remember. I think that it might have been a Buddhist teacher. It might have been a Hindu guru. If one of you knows, please let me know. Where one of the students of the teacher comes and says, please tell us what death is, because we don't understand it and we find it so terrifying. And the teacher said, while you have been in this world, God has been suckling you at her breast. And when you die, she moves you to the other breast. So I found a beautiful image of El Shaddai, and I hope I can share it with you with ease. Just a moment here. Oh. I guess that worked. Did it work? Okay. So we'll have a few minutes in silence to admire the beauty of Shaddai, the goddess of sustenance, of abundance, of the nurturing kindness of God. We'll have about one more minute. as I stop my screen sharing, I'll tell you that the reason that I went to Shaddai for our practice this evening is because today is Lunasad or Lamas. That is the first of the 3 harvest festivals in the pagan calendar. It's the very beginning of the harvest. So it's not the peak, it's not the fullness, it's not the end. But there's a sense of newness and anticipation and gratitude that begins to flow with such ease right now. So thank you for sharing this concentration with me this evening. Well, I'll pause the recording, so if any of you feel inclined to share anything of your own experience and associations, you're very welcome. Oh, thank you for all of those beautiful sharings, friends, for all of your tender-hearted personal reflections and attunement, and also the ways that you've been curious and exploring these ideas in your own lives. And so I almost played Amy Grant's El Shaddai song as an opening and decided it would not be appropriate for this setting, but thank you, Doug, for mentioning that so I could talk about it. Yeah. But it is actually a really beautiful song and has so many exquisite lyrics. So I encourage all of you to go find it, Amy Grant's El Shaddai. And in shaping the way of presenting the goddess for this evening, it felt really important to me to be able to include the things that have been lost in the scriptures that are not addressing the divine feminine, or the ways that they're in plain sight. There is no overlooking that or ignoring it, but somehow we have been so completely conditioned to not notice that. So we can hear those phrases and think that it's talking about a masculine god. So it's so interesting and so important, and the reason why the Temple of the Divine Feminine is so important, and Themiswaduta holding this priestesshood and sharing the insights and invitations back to the Divine Mother. And some of the things are the ways that she's been lost, but some of the ways that are things that we're just not paying attention. That's all. So we'll close with this prayer for the Divine Mother. This is called Abida, which means worshiper, and I'll put it in the chat window in 2 different sections because it is quite long, but it's worth it. Okay, so you're welcome to join me in saying this prayer if you wish. Radiant Earth Mother, guardian, source of life, we hear your sacred word in the beating of our hearts and in the silence between breaths. Our bodies know you as Gaia, as Grandmother Spider, and as Sheila Nagig. Our minds know you as Inanna, as Saraswati, and as Amaterasu. Our hearts know you as Yemanja, as Uma Mariam, and as Kuan Yin. Our souls know you as Tiamat, as Ereshkigal, and as Sekhmet. From the beginning, we have honored you as Coatlicue, as Lilith, and as the Fates. And we have loved you as Eve, as Miriam, and as Rabia al-Adawiyah. We know your beloved face in the tender spring blossoms, the ripe fruits of the land, and the stillness of winter. We see your courage in a birthing mother, and your generosity in her flowing milk. You are the rising sun, the fresh dawn, the fire in our bellies, and the purifying rain. You are the standing stones, the growing grain, the flowing river, and the rush of bird wings. From your protective arms we are sent forth. You light our path and welcome us home again. All our lives are held in your compassionate embrace. Speak to us through your divine nature. Let us feel your living presence in the rosemary, orange blossom, thistle, and sage. Let us recognize you in the creatures of earth, sky, and sea. We live in you, and we listen for your wisdom in our bones, our blood, and our clear intelligence. With each thought, feeling, desire, and action, help us to remember that our souls are an emanation of your divine being. Amen. Okay, thank you, beautiful friends.